think.
Yeah, bring the trophy.
For now. It's kind of like the old Wide World of Sports intro, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
The dude wiping out skiing.
Yep.
All right, joining us here in the Media Center at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway is your top fuel winner of the 25th Annual NHRA 4-Wide Nationals, Tony Stewart, who went 3.870 at 317 miles an hour to pick up his first career NHRA top fuel win, winning on a hole shot the first two quads, defeated Antron Brown in the final round. You've won it everything here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and now you get a top fuel victory here. Talk us through a lot of emotions there on the top end in the winner's circle. Just talk about how exciting this is for you in this moment for you.
It's unreal. I mean, it's, you know, I told somebody, I said, I haven't been around NHRA that long. I mean, obviously about 5 years, honestly, and I realize it takes a lot. It takes a long time to win a race in this series, but you know, everything in my career, I never had to wait over a year to win a race. I always figured it out in the first year and multiple wins normally, but just very appreciative. And, you know, today, like you said, 2 hole shots in the first 2 rounds, and my worst light of the weekend came in the final, unfortunately, but that's where Neil Straussbaugh and Mike Dalmagala, they got us that win in the final. So very appreciative. I think we all needed it. It's been so stressful the whole year after Leah, you know, almost won a world championship, you know, 2 years ago, to sit there and get in the car last year. And, you know, people in the stands don't realize it. They think I'm the reason the car sucks. And, you know, and it wasn't that, you know, we had bad people tuning on it, just it was a different combination. There were different variables that changed. My body weight's different, you know, tubing changes from, you know, real changes a year ago, which everybody had it, so it wasn't like it was something just special for us, but just really frustrating. We could not get on a path to where we could make gains last year. Just super frustrating. It was like we were a ping pong ball. We were either going out and shaking the tires because it was weak or frying the tires on the hit, and couldn't do the same thing twice. And I don't have the experience to be able to help these guys, and never will, honestly. I mean, that's why these guys, the crew chiefs, make more than the drivers do in NHRA, and it's because they're the biggest variable in the equation. But, you know, to sit there and think right now, 2 years ago we were doing this and won our first NHRA race at a 4-wide with that top alcohol dragster, and 2 years later come back here and win it with the top fuel car is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
So, you know, and for me personally, I mean, I'll be honest, I've been a motorsports fan my entire life, and I feel like what we did today is history making in motorsports as a whole. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a driver to win an IndyCar race, a NASCAR race, a Triple Crown, and win an NHRA top fuel race. So, you know, to do this and do it with our own team and our family, and I think probably the one thing that may not sink in as much right now, but it's already starting to, is when Leah brought Dom up on the stage there when we were doing the interview after that. That was that's an emotion that you can't even think about or dream of, and when I saw her coming up those steps with him, my heart stopped. It's like, as much as I love winning this race for our team and for myself and for our family, seeing her bring him up there, that was a feeling I've never had in my life before. And I have a feeling when we lay down and put my head on a pillow tonight, that's going to be the one thing that I'm going to reflect on the most tonight.
That's Bobby.
Bobby Bennett, Competition Plus. By your own words that you said out there, who knew that all it took was a drag racing format that mimicked midget racing for you to get your first win?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember when I came here the first time with Leah, and, you know, she was talking about how a lot of the drivers don't like this format, and just because it's different, it's non-traditional. And I kind of looked at that, especially when I ran the alcohol car, and then last year with the top fuel car for the first time. This is an equalizer, I feel like, because there's drivers that are out of their comfort zone. They're used to 2 lanes and one other opponent. Now they got 3 opponents. They got 4 bulbs to look at on there. To me, that's an equalizer, because I embraced it. I loved it, because I felt like now that brings them back a little bit because they're uncomfortable, and I'm used to stuff like this. It's when you're not used to a pattern and you're not used to a rhythm, you're creating that. And so for those guys to have to get out of their comfort zone and do something different a couple times a year, and for me to not even have a comfort zone yet, it equalizes the field, I feel like. So I love them. 2 years ago when we won here, I mean, I was a big fan of it. We went to Charlotte a week later, runner up to Mike Hoffman, my teammate, by 2 inches, I think, at the line, and I just like the format of it. It's more accustomed to what I'm used to. You don't have to win your heat race to win a sprint car race. You got to win. You got to run so far up in your heat race to transfer to the A main, and then you got to win the A. So that's kind of what today is like. Is you don't have to win each round. We did. I mean, we won the first 2 rounds ourselves, but you don't have to. You just got to finish in the top 2 to get to the final, and then in the final you got to win the race to win it. So I like it. I mean, we can't get to Charlotte fast enough. If we race to Charlotte tomorrow, it wouldn't be soon enough for me. So I'm excited to twice at Charlotte we get to run 4 wide. So I like the format. I know it's not traditional. I haven't been around long enough to get set in my ways yet. So I like things that create a little bit of chaos occasionally.
Tony, Crystal Clay Racing Refresh. To kind of piggyback off of that question, do you think that the result would have been the same today had it not been for that 4-wide setup?
I mean, theoretically, yes. I mean, we flat out won our first 2 quads, and then our car was fast enough to win the quad in the final. So yeah, I think we had a shot to win this thing outright today. I mean, the weather this weekend was an equalizer as well. I mean, the format's an equalizer for the drivers, but the weather is tricky. The teams that make big power, make big speed, this is not a track this weekend where you're going to make big speed. So for the teams that make that big power, they have to pull their cars way back to accommodate for what the track conditions were, and we're not to that stage yet, so we didn't have to pull back quite as far. So I feel like that made it a lot more equal for all of us, because nobody could just sit there and throw down and just throw up big numbers today. It made it a tuner's game, and our guys did a great job today doing that.
Okay, and one more question. I remember we were sitting here last year and you just began in Top Fuel, and obviously the pressure from maybe fans might have been an immediate win, but you were focused on consistency and really kind of dialing it in. So I just want to know, where was the turning point? Because I feel like your win and at the end of the track told us a very different story.
I think what you saw at the top end was relief, because it's pressure for me, because it's me and what I've done in motorsports and my history and our path that we've taken. I mean, we never took a year to win a race in any kind of race car that we ever drove, that we've won races in. And to come here and like I said, after Leah wins a world championship, and then I get in the car and we're struggling, and the fans in the stands don't totally understand what it is. And it's, everything I drove before I got into NHRA, I was 70% of the equation, and the car and the crew were 30% of the equation. Over here, it's the opposite. Now I'm 30% of the equation, and that car and the team are that 70%. So when it's not going down the racetrack and it's got my name on the doors and on the car, they look and go, well, she almost won a world championship a year ago. He sucks. And we did suck last year, but I didn't suck. I mean, I finished 5th in reaction time average for the season. So I mean, and you go ask Neil and Mike, they said I did a great job last year. But it doesn't show in the results, unfortunately. And the people in the stands that aren't just die-hard drag race fans, they don't understand that. So they look at me and go, this guy's terrible. He needs to get it. I mean, I'm reading on social media, they need to put his wife back in the car because she did way better. And it's hard to argue with that when the results show that. But I think, we went to the pro race at Bradenton, and we made 14 runs in the 5 days we were down there. And it only made it down the track 3 times out of 14 runs. And they took the car back to Brownsburg and yard sailed it and changed everything. And then show up at Gainesville, and we had 2 days of testing. We had 1 washout on Saturday. We made a total of 10 runs that week, and 8 out of 10 runs that made it down the racetrack. And it was like a sportsman car that was consistent. So the work that they did, and a lot of that work came from the funny car team as well. So it's not just Mike and Neil, it's Phil Schuler and Mike Knutson on the funny car side, that everybody just pitched in together, and we were all helping each other. And so our motto at TSR is we're one team, all team, and that's truly what this win is about, is the effort of everybody, not just the Top Fuel guys, but our entire program working together to get the results. So it just makes you proud when you're at the top end, and you're like, as much as it's a stress for me as an owner and the driver, can you imagine what the stress is for the crew chiefs that are running me? That it's in their hands. And so when it's not going right, it's bad enough for me owning it, the stress I feel, imagine the stress those guys have felt. So today to sit there and go, finally, these guys got the monkey off their back, and to sit there and look at the time slip up there, I was a third off the line, and they won the race. That makes me happy because they won us the race. I won us the first two, they won us the last one, and that's a team effort right there. But for those guys in particular, for Neil and Mike, I mean, they carry so much weight of having to run me. It's a pressure that not all the other teams have here, and it's hard for those guys. So just feeling relief for those guys versus ourselves more than anything. It's just great to finally put the whole package together.
Thank you.
Phil Burgess, National Racer. To be fair, your 2024 season was a learning season for you, right? You learned how to pedal it, you learned how to leave.
I learned how to pedal a lot.
Yeah, you did.
We did that a lot.
But coming into this year, I mean, you're in the Mission Final in Phoenix, runner-up 2 weeks ago in Pomona. Did you feel this was right around the corner?
I think it's hard for me to know where it was going to land, but I mean, I just wanted to see progress this year. Everybody goes, what's your expectations this season? I really didn't have any other than I just want to see the needle moving in the right direction and making progress. Like I said, Gainesville was a step in that direction, and it's like, man, that was great. So we go to Phoenix, and you're like, man, I hope we're on the same path we were at Gainesville, and Phoenix we were on the same path. I mean, lost in the second round, but had a consistent car through qualifying, made it down all 4 runs in qualifying. So go to Pomona, consistent car, and get to the final. So you see that it's moving the right direction. I mean, the hard part with this is you don't always win the race even though you turn the win light on. Sometimes the other team wins the race for you with misfortune. So, you know, Doug spun the tires at Pomona. Sean had a hole out on the step. We got some lucky breaks there that helped us get to the final, and we just couldn't capitalize on it. I think that's what made it so disheartening. You know, we went up against 3 giant teams the first 3 rounds and then couldn't capitalize on it. And Clay's no slouch by any means. You know, Rick Ware's teams does an awesome job. I mean, winning the U.S. Nationals last year, and their record speaks for itself. So there's no layups in it. You know, it's just not there. But that was our best opportunity to win a race, and we stepped on it. You know, and it threw up on itself, and we sat there and watching blow up. And I pedaled it. He was so far out there and had so much car speed that even if I stayed in it when I got back in it, I wasn't going to run him down. And that's discipline on my side. That's the only thing I took away from the final round that I was proud of, is that I didn't just lose my mind and try to jump back in and try to chase him down and, you know, make a mistake and cost us a motor or something. So, but even Clay came over after they got done with their photos, and he was done with his media session. He was walking back. He goes, "You're close. It's coming." And it takes someone like him and Steve Torrance and these guys, Doug Coletta, to tell you they see it because they've been around it long enough to know. For me, it's like you think it's coming at some point, but you just don't know till it happens. But the good thing, like I said, is I was seeing the needle moving in the right direction, and that was the goal this year, is just to get us going down the right path. And you know, eventually, hopefully, we would have a day where we put it all together, and today was that day.
Sure. Jordan, KickingTheTurf.net. So is this the fun you were talking about? You reached the pinnacle of fun. You're going to continue. You knocked off the first win here. So now you got your top fuel win. This has got to be the start of something good.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, my whole life in motorsports, it seems like every new car that we won a race in, that first one was the hardest one to get. And it seems like once you get that first one there, it's not like you do anything different, but it just seems like it relaxes everybody. And it just seems like the next one comes a little bit easier than it is trying to. I think you put so much pressure on winning that first one that you put yourself in a position to make mistakes. Where getting this first one out of the way, now we can go race, and we know we can do it. We've proven we can do it. Now we just got to execute it each week. But it takes that pressure off of the individuals that are working on the car and me as a driver. I mean, we get to just show up and race now.
Brock said a while ago that when you got your first win, you felt like y'all would both get wins that weekend. You climb up on the stage, he's there. He's the first to see you and talk to you on the top end, and then John Force comes up and talks to you and congratulates you. Those thoughts, I mean, what's that going through your mind when you're experiencing all that?
Yeah, it makes me think about when Austin and Thomas, his brother, asked us if they could bring their midget and work out of our shop, and I'm like, yeah, we'll make a space for you over here. And you know, they brought the midget in there, and they had a blast doing it. And then Thomas came to work for us at Stewart Racing on the NASCAR side, and when he left, I mean, I was devastated when he left, and when he told me what he was doing, it's like, it's hard to be mad at him, you know, to get to race with his brother and his dad, and you know, Austin and I are pretty good buddies, so to know that, you know, that's something to bond for the two of us, that on our first win that he wins it as well. I mean, I'd loved it. We were sitting right behind Matt, and I'm going, get down there, no, it's smoked. I'm like, oh my God, no. And then I'm like, man, I hope this lane isn't bad, because I got to go down it next. So, you know, but it's cool to see Austin win. I mean, to see the season that Austin had last year was unbelievable. I mean, for him and his family, that's a dream for anybody that's in motorsports and that has a family in motorsports, to be able to be at the pinnacle of that form of racing and dominate like they did the whole season last year was amazing. So, yeah, that's a cool thing. It's, like I say, there's so many things that aren't even going to sink in tonight that are going to sink in as the week goes on and before we get to Charlotte. But, you know, Austin being down there and being one of the first people to me was a pretty cool deal to have the history that we have together, and for him to be down there in that moment, it was pretty cool.
Evan Smith, National Dragster. Of all the disciplines that you've competed in, all the different types of cars, has anything prepared you for this? And if so, which discipline would give you the most maybe seat time or ability to jump into drag racing and drive a top fuel car?
God, none of it. I mean, oddly enough, I mean, literally 90 to 95% of how I made my living driving race cars doesn't even apply over here. You know, the only time it really applies is when both cars in both lanes got to pedal it. That's when my history and the stuff that I was good at back in the day of keeping the tire hooked up underneath me, that's where that comes into play. But it's just so different. It's such a different discipline over here. And from the time the light hits till you get to the line, the driving the car part has been the easiest part for me. It's been all the procedures and the staging and the mindset that you have to have when you get in the car, and the mindset when you start the car to make the run. It's all those things that we never think about in any other form of motorsports. Those are the things that are super important over here, and putting the whole run together, the cadence of it, knowing how much fuel we burn and how much the fuel weighs. If you change any of those variables very far, I mean, it's going to directly alter the way that car performs down the racetrack. Shoot, when we push off for a sprint car race, we're not thinking about that. When we pulled off pit road in a cup car or Indy car, we didn't think about that. We're sitting thinking, well, we're going to know in about 5 laps what our balance is. You don't even get to figure out what your balance is. It's over before you figure it out. You just have to react to it here. So it's even when I ran the alcohol car, I don't think I really wrapped my brain totally around what encompassed all of drag racing from a driver's side. I think about a third of the way through the season last year, the reality hit of what all it entails and where I fit in that equation. I think that's the thing that really was something that was eye-opening for me as a driver.
Tom Zaleski, Aaron County Today. I'm going to give you an analogy here that kind of, if you can deal with it as you wish, but Rory McIlroy won the Masters today and broke his career Grand Slam, got his career Grand Slam at long last after 11 tries. How did this win feel for you today? Is it relatable in that respect?
Rory's won a lot of big tournaments, though. You know, this is, and we have too in different forms of motorsports, but not here. I mean, you know, we had a great year with the alcohol car with the McPhillips family 2 years ago, but to win at this level in a top fuel car, I mean, it's hard to explain. Like I said, every other form of motorsports I ran, I had success pretty quick, and this is one that you can wish it, you can't buy wins here.
Right.
This is all about people, it's all about packages, and it's that way in life and every other form of motorsports. It's about the people. But at least when that car went on to the racetrack, I was the one that was ultimately going to dictate the outcome of that race car. Here, it's so much on the crew chiefs and the tuners that drivers still have a lot to do. They still have to leave on time. They still have to keep it in the groove. They have to be ready to catch the car at any moment. But there's nothing I can do to make this car go faster when I'm driving it. It's going to run what it's going to run. When I hit that gas pedal, it's literally just going to run what it's going to run. I cannot make it go faster. There's 12 ways I can screw the run up, but there's 0 ways that I can make it go faster. And I think that's one of the hardest things from a driver's perspective, from the forms of motorsports that I've been a part of in the past. That was one of the hardest things for me to come to terms with, is that I can't do anything to make it better.
just the in golf, you can make all kinds of crazy adjustments, but with the car, it's just, you get the car and
Yeah, I mean,
to the point.
you got to focus on that tree. I mean, you got to focus on reaction times. And like I said, fifth last year, I was extremely happy with that. But at the same time, I'm never one to go, well, you know what, fifth's good enough. And so you want to sit there, you want to catch the Justin Ashleys and the Antron Browns and the Doug Colettas and the Sean Langdons. Those are the 4 guys that were in front of me all year. And those are the guys that I want to, you know, it's going to take a lot of time to catch those guys. I mean, they're craftsmen. I mean, they perfect their craft. And you know, Sean Langdon, probably more than anybody, knows this sport probably better than anybody on this property. Sean does. But to be as good as those guys, and if you're going to beat them, you gotta find a way to be as good as those guys. And so to sit there and be at fifth and go, yeah, that was great. But if you're going to beat them on a regular basis, you got to figure out how to beat them on the tree too. You can't rely on the car to do the work for you. So today was a team effort. I mean, we did our job the first 2 rounds and got us going. Thank God Neil and Mike bailed me out in the final here. And, you know, we didn't have a terrible light, but it wasn't a great light either. And it wasn't one that I'm proud of, but that truly encompasses the team atmosphere. And, you know, I think this, like I said, as much as I'd like to say I sat there and cut a 40 or a 50 for the final, I'm almost happy that we cut an 82 and that the car won us the race, because Neil and Mike have deserved that, to have that pressure for over a year now and you know, have to sit there and carry that weight every week. I mean, they won us this race today.
2 more.
Hi, so obviously your first Top Fuel win is here in Vegas. What does it mean to you to not only be racing in Vegas, but to be winning here?
I don't care where we win at. We can win at the furthest north tip of Alaska for all I care, and it means something. Every win, everywhere you go, means something. But a year ago, or 2 years ago when we were here, I didn't even think about it until somebody told me. I mean, we have literally won at every racetrack on this property. And, you know, probably Kyle Busch is probably the only guy that could come close to that. And so that, you know, Vegas is, I had the biggest crash in my entire career right across the street here in an Indy car in '96. And I was out for a long time, and it was a long recovery. But to sit there and do what we did here 2 years ago and then come back today and 2 years later and win the same event 2 years later in a Top Fuel car, I mean, that means a lot to me. So I think when everybody goes, what's your favorite track you go to? Every car that I ever ran, it seems like the first place I won my first race at in each of those cars was my favorite track for some reason. So it's hard to not sit there and go, yeah, when Vegas comes around on the schedule, I look forward to it. So it's what's not to like about Vegas, unless you lose your ass and your home and your wife or something. Then you say, kiss my ass, Vegas. But, you know, this is just a place that we've always enjoyed. You know, SMI properties. I mean, I've known Marcus Smith and Bruton Smith forever, and they're great people. They care about motorsports, and it shows in the details they put into their facilities. So, you know, when you come here, you know, when you go to Charlotte, Bristol, you go to places like that, I mean, you know they care about what they do. So, you know, Vegas is a track that, whether it's any of these 4 tracks that are here, I mean, they put a ton of effort into it and make them nice. So when you come to Vegas and you know you're going to come to this property, you know you're coming to a first-class facility.
One more. Close up, Joe.
Tony, Joe Costello, WFO Radio. You've worked very hard for the sport of drag racing since you got involved. Media tours, going on shows, promoting drag racing, talking about your newfound love and passion for the sport. But that was just like as a driver. Now we are going to NASCAR country, ZMAX Dragway, as a race winner. You are a Top Fuel winner. I assume that everybody over there has been very supportive of this endeavor. But now to go there into Charlotte as a Top Fuel winner, like, what about that? How great is that, and what do you expect to hear from your friends?
And it's the 1,000th Top Fuel race.
And the 1,000th
Really?
Top Fuel
Yeah.
race, and you're going there as the most
Are
recent
you sure this
Top
race
Fuel winner.
wasn't the 1,000th race?
If you want it to be.
The fun thing is, I mean, I remember when I tested Leah's car, and it was I think it was the 10th run I'd made in a Top Fuel car. Kyle Larson was there, and Leah threw him to the wolves. Unfortunately, she put him clear up where the starter is on the line, and I still have the video where we made the hit, made the run. I actually red lit because I was so excited he was there to watch. But I red lit, made a good run, and you see him turn around and he's shaking his head, and Lee goes, "You want to drive one of these?" He's like, "Hell no." And of all people, Clint Boyer, one of the craziest guys I've ever met in my life, aside from Travis Pastrana, thinks I'm absolutely insane driving one of these. So to be able to go back to where I've got a really deep-rooted history in the state of North Carolina and at least go as the previous race winner is something that I feel like is going to be a great feeling when we get back there. We've got a lot of our NASCAR friends that are going to come hang out for the weekend, and I think it's going to feel way, way, way different. I didn't even think about that until you mentioned that. That's awesome. It's going to make going to Charlotte that much better when we go, because it's not going to be, are you ever going to win one of these things? To, yeah, we just won the last one and we got a shot to do it again, hopefully.
Go celebrate.
Yeah, it's going to be a short one tonight, but it's I have a feeling it's going to be quantity, not quality tonight. So,
Congratulations, Tony. You're a tough fuel winner here in
thank
Vegas.
you guys, appreciate it.